It's criminal how easy it is to get into life-challenging student loan debt versus how incredibly difficult it is to get small business lending support to go start a business doing something that is useful, that people need, that you can create a company around, employment, value that can contribute to community. Small business is like the most important thing. 99.9% of all businesses are small businesses. Small businesses employ nearly half of the private labor force. It is a small business, but big impact. And the more small businesses we have, the better we are. And so the Blue Collar Report is trying to create more awareness and help raise the profile.
Today, we're talking with Sam Pillar. He is the co-founder and CEO of Jobber, and they recently put out their Blue Collar Report. So I want to pick Sam's brain about that. And he leads a company, and he knows a lot about leadership and being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, leader. So I also want to learn what you've learned over the years, Sam, of leading this Jobber organization. So welcome back to the program, Sam.
Hey, Paul. Thanks so much for having me. I'll do what I can, but keep your expectations not too high.
I'm curious, how many team members do you have over at Jobber now?
We are about 800 today.
Oh, man. And you're at the helm of all of that.
I'm at the helm of all of that. I'm very privileged and happy to say that I have a lot of help from a lot of really great leaders around me and teammates throughout the business. So they make it a much easier job than it could possibly be, I think.
Well, I definitely want to get into the Blue Collar Report, but I'm just so fascinated by your career as an entrepreneur and, everything that you've done to grow Jobber over the years. I mean, it just seems like it's just absolutely exploding, at least in our industry, in the lawn care world. You guys are, definitely got a big market share. When did you start Jobber, and what was kind of like those early stages in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, we started the company when we launched the first version of Jobber in 2011. That's when Forrest and I, who were both software developers at the time, started with this idea that there's just really no great software to enable small business entrepreneurs in the trades. And at the time, we didn't really think about it as trades. I mean, we had a few customers that were, and not even really customers, businesses that were interested in what we were doing. And they were in industries like painting and window cleaning and lawn care. And, when we did some research to try and figure out, what do businesses like this use to keep track of customers and jobs and invoices and just to, do all the boring bits and pieces of actually running a business behind the scenes of the actual work, there was just nothing or very little anyways. And the stuff that was available was really complicated to use. So we set out on this journey to build a product that was, very easy to use, that accomplished all of that, back office administration that, as and your audience knows, like is a necessary evil. Like you have to do it. You have to do a good job of it too, because you need to look like you're, running a competent business. Your customers have to have confidence in the service that you're providing. And so we wanted to just build something that allowed our customers to get back to the work, get back to the thing that they're actually good at doing and that they want to be doing and building their businesses and having free time actually is an important part of running a business, as well as having some flexibility and taking advantage of that and abstract away as much of that administrative burden as possible. And so that's what we did. And lawn care was one of our early sort of industries where we really kind of caught hold. And I remember there's a forum in the lawn care industry called LawnSite. And I'm not actually sure if it's around anymore, but I spent many, many dozens of hours in the early days just chatting with business owners in that forum and talking to them about their businesses and their challenges and what we were building and just trying to get as much insight and develop some intuition around how to build something great for that industry. And I think that's probably where the early parts of our momentum in the landscaping and lawn care industries came from.
Very insightful, Sam. I talked to you at the Equip Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. You guys have a great showing there last year, and you were mentioning about your health and like as you've been growing Jobber for, well over a decade now, you had mentioned that you kind of got a little bit off track with your health and things like that, and you were trying to get back to working out and doing things like that. How has that all progressed over the last year since I've talked to you?
Yeah, the pendulum swings, Paul. The pendulum swings. I would say I'm sort of like in the middle of the road right now. I kind of fell off the wagon exercise wise a little bit. I've got a partially torn meniscus in my left knee that prevents me from doing as much of the exercise as I would like to do. And running in particular is something that I enjoy because I travel a lot for work, and running is a very portable workout. So that has been a lot harder to do. So I'm on a bike and doing some other stuff to try to make up. But it's also, I mean, a big part of it as well is, healthy eating and just, other lifestyle elements that I think can be hard when you travel as well. And so it takes a lot of energy and focus for me to try to make the right choices in those areas. And I'll be honest, it's an ongoing sort of battle. I won't call it a struggle. It's a battle, and I'm winning some of the time, and other times I could be doing better.
Back in 2011, if I would have said, Sam, you're going to have 800 employees one day, you're going to be responsible for paychecks at 800 people. Like, I mean, to me, that's just in lawn care, just getting 2 or 3 guys to show up is like a victory. How in the world has that been for you over the years to have such a responsibility on your shoulders? What have you kind of learned about leadership as you lead such a large business?
Yeah, I mean, it is an amazing responsibility. I would say, though, Paul, and maybe this is the leadership lesson as well, I think that the responsibility that I have to my employees and all of the people who work here at Jobber, and yeah, like I never could have imagined in 2011 or anywhere around the time that we were starting that we would be this size. And I'm sure, if I fast forward a number of years, I'll be saying the same thing, rolling back to 2024, can't believe we would be the size that we are in the future. But I think what I try to focus on most, and what I try to focus the attention of the people in the business on, is the responsibility that we have to our customers. And I think that, to me, is the primary objective. The most important thing that I have to do here, and that I have to do here in my job leading the organization, is ensuring that everybody is connected to and understands the importance of the job that we have and the responsibility that we have to enable entrepreneurs and small businesses and to help the people in small business be successful. These are sort of mantras that get repeated internally. They're embedded in the organization through our recruiting process, all of our ongoing performance management, the way that we, talk at our town halls, when product teams are meeting to spec out and decide what we're going to build and how we're going to build it. It all comes back to that responsibility that we have to serve small business entrepreneurs, who are like a category of people who often just get overlooked and passed over as like hard to serve and not a big opportunity. And those are all the reasons that we're excited about it. It just goes back to what we identified in 2011. There's just not a lot of help for these kinds of business owners. That's changed a lot since 2011. Obviously, there's a lot more attention, a lot more help now, but it still is relatively marginal in the grand scheme of things. And so I think that if I can focus the attention, the collective attention of those 800 people on this important job that we have to do something that we can all agree as an organization is important and that we're all passionate about, and we get the opportunity to talk to real small business owners and entrepreneurs who reinforce that for us, it makes the job of leadership just that much easier. I mean, there's lots of issues and challenges, of course, all the time, but having that common purpose, that unified thread that you genuinely really care about, and just rallying people around that, and that sort of acts as a bit of a filtering mechanism as well. People who don't care about that don't really want to help us, create more entrepreneurs in the world and create better lives for entrepreneurs. Well, I mean, those people, this isn't a great place for them, and they either don't come here or they don't do well here, and that's perfectly fine.
Very well said. Focus on the customer. I think there's a big correlation if you're a lawn care business owner or landscaping business owner. Our focus has to be on, making sure our customers are very, very happy. I want to get into the blue collar report, Sam. Unfortunately, I didn't start my lawn business till 2011 when you started Jobber, and I went into student loan debt. When I graduated high school, everyone was going to college, so I just went to college, and I didn't even really know what the FAFSA thing was, but I filled it out, and I got I signed up for tens of thousands of dollars of debt at 18 years old, and I don't even know nothing about life or money or anything. And I graduated from college, but then I got, over $40,000 of student loan debt, and I just made the minimum payment. So long story short, I paid outrageous amounts of interest and had this loan just follow me around for decades. And I wish somebody would have told me about the trades in high school and about a lawn care business. And I know it's getting more popular now with social media, but I think this is great what you guys are doing to bring awareness to the trade. So tell us about the blue collar report. And we have a lot of young people listening to the podcast that are kind of deciding, should I go all into my business or should I go to school? Like, I just want to hear your perspective on the state of the trades and why it's such a great career path.
Yeah. No, I mean, your experience, unfortunately, is not unique. And I'll say it's criminal how easy it is to get into life-challenging student loan debt versus how incredibly difficult it is to get small business lending support to go start a business doing something that is useful, that people need, that you can, create, a company around, that can create employment, that can create value, that can contribute to a community. Small business is it's like the most important thing. Like 99.9% of all businesses are small businesses. Small businesses employ nearly half of the private labor force, and also contribute almost half of GDP. So it is a small business, but big impact. And the more small businesses we have, the better we are. There should be, just as a general statement, far more emphasis around small business creation and entrepreneurship encouragement. And so the blue collar report is really all about trying to create more awareness and raise the profile, really, or help raise the profile. I'm not going to be so bold as to believe that we're going to be able to do it on our own, but that's kind of part of the reason that we're doing this. Is we want to, it's a call to action. We want more people, more businesses and governments and educators and parents and everybody sort of coming to the table to see what we see and what is so clearly there in the data, and to change their views and their perspectives around what the opportunities are in the trades and then blue collar work in general. So and what that is, what we can see and what the reality is on the ground is that there is a massive opportunity here for the next generation of young people to build careers, very successful careers that pay well, that are stable, that are durable and reliable, and also to start companies and to build wealth. I think one of the things that is really incredible about the results of this blue collar report are that I think the stat was 76% of young people today believe that there is, and that's sort of Gen Z specifically, believe that, and from our survey, believe that there's a stigma around the idea of exploring the trades or vocational school after high school, instead of just going straight into university and not even really knowing why they're doing that, other than it's just sort of like the default path. And, not only does that stigma exist, there's really not a lot of energy within the system, I'll call it, whether that's education or parents, to encourage young people to explore these alternative paths. 17% of the respondents said that they had been educated at all about the options with respect to vocational and trade schools. 61% said that their parents had not sort of at all talked to them about that option, or had like discouraged them from pursuing those options. And Hollywood also plays a role here. If you think about the way that the trades and blue collar work is portrayed in TVs and movies, it's not great. And so that translates as well through to the perception that young people have. 47% of the respondents believed that the trades are portrayed poorly, and so young impressionable people who want to be impressive and do something that they can be proud of look at that and just get discouraged immediately, when the reality is, like, today, if you took sort of one person who goes to university and another person who goes to a trade school straight out of university and followed them through for 5 years, I know who I'm putting my money on in terms of whether they're going to be successful 5 years down, and maybe have had the opportunity to buy a house and start a family, or do any of the things that young people aspire to do, versus find themselves kind of burdened by student loan debt, not really sure where to look in the job market. I think there's a lot of skepticism as well amongst this new generation about the prospects for them in the white collar world. A lot of them, I think 70% are sort of really not optimistic about the future of the economy and the impact that generative AI is going to have on white collar work. So all of these like statistics and all of these bits of info come together to paint a picture of like tremendous opportunity in the trades. And I think we are, one of our marketing people has this really great saying that like Hollywood and just media, and I'd say parents, are doing hard work dirty. We're really doing a disservice to young people by not connecting them better to this opportunity factory that exists in the trades and in blue collar work more generally. So that's what the blue collar report is all about, is just trying to raise more awareness, get people a little more aware, like educated, I guess. I don't want to be dismissive or anything like that, but I think a lot of people just they're not thinking about it. They are not aware of the reality in these industries, and just the sheer. I guess the other thing I didn't mention is that there's just a massive labor shortage. I mean, you know this, your listeners know this. You basically get to pick your customers. And so, right now that's a pretty great position to be in as a business owner in these industries. But most regular people who are just like working a job, have a kid in school or whatever, don't know that. They don't really realize that. Maybe if they're trying to hire a tradesperson, they know that's the case, and intuitively, but they don't connect that to the fact that like, hey, maybe this is a great opportunity for my child to learn a trade and learn a valuable skill and go do something valuable and start a business.
Yeah, if I could go back over again, Sam, I wouldn't even have gone to trade school, honestly. I would have just got me a lawnmower and just started my lawn business, the day after I graduated high school. If I could go back and redo my life again, I would have started my lawn business June 6th, 2024, the day after I graduated. And you used the word energy earlier in that epic rant there about the trades. And from age 18 to 23, that's when I had the most energy of my life. And I wasted it in, an air conditioning classroom. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I remember anything I learned. Is just a bunch of nonsense. So honestly, where I went to school, I feel like that they taught me. And then I graduated and I've never even used that degree, but I've had to pay back the student loan, year after year after year. And so I just think it's so powerful what you guys are doing. I know Mike Rose out there talking about the trades, and there's other folks that are championing the trades, but it's where the opportunity is, and it's where so much money is to be made. While we got you on the line, and guys, by the way, and gals, in the show notes, the link to the blue collar report is going to be, so if you want to read through all the details Sam's talking about, you can read the blue collar report for yourself. But I want to pick your brain real quick about efficiency, because in our lawn care world, Sam, to get profit, it's very difficult because anybody can get a lawnmower and cut grass. So the competition is fierce. So we have to be as efficient as possible to have a bottom line that's impressive. How has Jobber over the years helped lawn care business owners specifically get more efficient and get their business dialed in by using Jobber in your app and all of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would add to that, Paul. You're absolutely right. I mean, if efficiency in delivery of service and in sort of management of process is critical, so that you can sort of get as much to the bottom line, as much of your time to the bottom line as possible. But the other thing that I think is really critical in these kinds of industries is differentiation. You really want to try to differentiate yourself from your competitors as much as you possibly can. And Jobber is a critical aid in both of these areas for our customers. And so on the first point that you mentioned, efficiency, I talked about it earlier. I mean, just getting all of the administrative crap out of the way so that you can focus on cutting grass, just get more lawns mowed, or get more people hired and manage those people, like driving more of the work output is a higher leverage, more important use of your time than whatever sort of incremental piece of administration. So now it is important to get the proper systems in place. So getting systems in place and processes and making sure that your business is designed to function well, that's a very high leverage activity. So getting Jobber set up and getting your employees into the platform is a very high leverage thing to do. And once you do that, a lot of the sort of administrative hassle of managing quotes and back and forth with your customers and scheduling jobs and figuring out what the right route is, or we've got lots of really advanced cool functionality, like automated drive time calculations, so that you don't need to spend all of that time trying to figure out all right, I've got a crew over in this part of the city and a crew over in this part of the city, and then job comes in sort of somewhere in between, what do I do? We help you figure that stuff out in a much more automated fashion. And so a lot of that efficiency driving functionality is taking what you would typically be, or what you used to would have done a pen and paper or just in your brain, and that can be very taxing, away, so you can just focus on driving work output. But the other point about differentiation is really important as well. I think that it is increasingly important to deliver a service to consumers that they feel is of a high quality and increasingly a high quality experience to consumers involves technology. They don't want to have to play telephone tag and chase you around and call to book appointments or call to change appointments, or chase you to pay an invoice or whatever. They want those experiences to be technology enabled. They want it to feel like the other consumer grade technology that they interact with on a day-to-day basis. And Jobber is world class in that regard. We, both in our product that is business facing, so that you as the user use, but also the experiences that are facing the consumer. We aim for a consumer level of quality, a very high sort of level of quality in those experiences, and that's pretty unique to Jobber. We put an outsized amount of effort into that, because we know that we talked about it earlier. You need to focus on the customer. The customer is the most important thing, and so we know that your customer is the most important thing. We want to make you look amazing. We want to make you look as good as you possibly can as a small business owner. A lot of our small business customers will tell us oh yeah, my customers think that I'm a huge business. They think I'm this big outfit that's just super organized and really professional, and that's the kind of thing that Jobber can help you do.
Yeah, I got my truck detailed recently, and the guy, I go to pay him, and I thought he had this big operation and everything, and he's like, yeah, you can Venmo me or Zelle or just bring me cash. And it was so unprofessional, and he did a great job. But if he would have had Jobber, it would have just been like, I would have trusted his company even more, and I actually only used them one time. It was one and done, because I was like, they don't have their stuff together. I know we're running tight on time here, so I have a quick question about the invoicing. You said the customer's chasing us to pay the invoice. It's more like, they go into hiding when the money's due, and Mrs. Wilson will say, I'll leave a check under the mat, and then you pick up the mat and the check's not even there. And then, I had a lady always put the check in this little Ziploc bag and put it in the grill, but I had to take the grill cover off and then get all greasy. And so how with card on file, and I know I recently heard about the ACH. I haven't tested that out yet, but walk us through how we can get our customers cards on file and how easy that is. That makes it convenient for them, but also making sure our invoices are getting paid the day we do the service, or however we have it set up. Just be real quick on getting the invoicing set up with Jobber.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing this more and more from businesses. Like, I guess that you can boil it down to no dough, no mo. Like, pay up front. If not a deposit, then actually, card on file at least. Before you actually even come out to do the job, so that the moment the job is done, and Jobber enables you to do this, once you've got the Jobber payments set up, you've got the card on file, the instant the job is done, your employee can just say job done, like hit one button on the phone, and instantly it'll charge the card on file. So you don't need, gone are the days of net 30-day payment terms. Gone are the days of like a greasy check in a grill. That's a hilarious story. And you really should be thinking about, your customers hold you accountable to doing great work, but you need to hold them accountable as well to paying for the work that you do. And increasingly, I'm hearing from business owners that the approach to doing that, and it's increasingly acceptable to consumers, is to insist that they have a credit card on file, and that's how you're going to charge them. And you can do that then immediately after the job is done, and compress that time to collect your money down to basically 0 minutes, from 30 days or 45 days or 60 days or whatever it takes, to 0 minutes.
Absolutely. Well, if you guys are listening and you're still collecting cash or check, get Jobber, get your customers' cards on file. And then some folks, Sam, will do the day of the service. So you go out on Tuesday afternoon and you mow Mr. Wilson's lawn. You just sit in the truck and you charge the card on file. Or some companies have it set up on the first of every month. You already have it pre-calculated what the monthly price is, and you just charge the card on the first of the month. But anyway, that's a no-brainer. If you guys are listening to this podcast and you don't have your customers' cards on file, you are getting stressed that you don't need to on your life, and your customer will appreciate it, because then they don't have to worry about it. It's just like all their other bills. It's just on auto pay. So you need to do that. I know we only have a couple minutes left. I have one last question, Sam. We have a lot of guys listening, and gals. They're in year 1, they're in year 2, maybe year 3 of their lawn care landscaping endeavor. What advice do you have to these young, maybe not young in age, they might be in their 40s or 50s, but they're new to being a small business owner, running a landscaping business? What's your advice to the folks just getting started out running their business?
I mean, I think perseverance, tenacity, you didn't start your business in the first place because you're, kind of like we'll see kind of person, I'll get a job and take it easy or whatever. You're not a take it easy kind of person if you started a business in the first place. And it's not going to be easy. There's going to be difficult periods. You're going to work extremely hard. During periods you may feel underappreciated and wonder if it's worth it. But I think just remembering those characteristics that caused you to decide to start a business and become an entrepreneur are as important, once you're rolling and going and you're a year in or whatever, or 6 months in, as they were the moment you started. And that perseverance to just keep going is super important. You need that tenacity. And then you should invest early in systems. I think it's never too early for you to get Jobber. You should You should get Jobber, make the investment, start building these systems and these processes into your business from day one or day 30 or whatever it is. Even if you feel like, oh, I've only got a few jobs and no big deal. You'll be amazed by how getting into the mentality of like, no, I'm a serious business. I'm going to take this seriously, and I'm going to deliver a quality of experience to my customers that they deserve from day one. It has a big impact, and I'd recommend it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Sam. Are you guys going to be back at Equip? I know last year at Naylor Taliaferro's big rally on Thursday night, you guys had a big old setup there. That was awesome. And right on the river in Louisville, you guys running that back this year?
I'm sure we will be back, and I hope to make it myself again, and look forward to seeing you there, Paul.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, Sam. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was fun chatting with Sam. Imagine 800 people that you have as employees. I just sometimes I think about these companies, and I like things simple. It's like I don't mind the Jason Creoles of the world and the Johnny Moes and the Tony Rudolphs. It's just like one man show, solopreneur they call it. My stress levels when I think about Sam's life, that he has 800 people. I don't know when they do their paychecks, on Fridays, I'm assuming, or whenever you have to pay 800 people. So it's just always good, learning from other entrepreneurs, and great talking with Sam today. Well, guys, I switched to Jobber in 2019. It was the summertime, and I've used it ever since. So that's how I run my businesses. If you're a customer of mine, you're going to get an invoice through Jobber, whether it's for 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. I mean, Jobber, you just send the invoice, and that's how I run my business. It's absolutely awesome. I wish I would have found out about Jobber sooner. But nevertheless, I finally got it in 2019, and literally that's how I run my business. And it's what I recommend. And if you guys are not using Jobber, you want to try it out, there'll be a link in the show notes. You can try out Jobber. And then if you want to read the blue collar report, Mr. Producer will put that link in the show notes as well. So, all right, well, I got to go to the gym. I been a little inconsistent lately. So I'm gonna head to the gym. I appreciate you watching today's video on the YouTube or listening on the podcast. And we'll hope to catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.